Hey boys and girls, it's Trevy the Great here with another Warhammer Battle Report. This one is going to be Warhammer 40,000 Tyranids versus Space Marines, a classic matchup. Little late on this one, sorry guys. It's been really busy around here, like I said in my last report, I believe. And so again, sorry that I haven't gotten this out on, in a timely fashion, but here it is. Hope you enjoy. So, one of my friends in my local gaming club got on Facebook with me the other day and said, "Hey, dude, I totally think that I have mastered the Space Marine Codex." And I said, "Oh, really, sir?" So I challenged him to a 2,000 point grudge match of epicness, and that's what this game is. So here's my incredibly tough and scary Tyranid Army. See if I can remember everything that's in it. I have a Hive Tyrant. He's got the Hive Commander special ability, which lets me bring my reserves in a little quicker. And he's also got two Brain Leech Devourers, which are an awesome combination. I've also have two units of Termagants just to hold objectives and things like that. One unit of 10 Ymgarl Gene Stealers. Those are the guys that come in a piece of terrain. I think they're awesome. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But especially in objective games, things like that, they can just come in and tie up enemy units and clear objectives of enemies, and they are just totally gold. I also, as you can see, have a big old Trigon Prime back there. I love my Trigon Prime. She likes to come in and deep strike and scare everybody. Even if she just takes a bunch of shooting and then dies, she's still taking a bunch of shooting, and the rest of my army is alright. I also have two Zoanthropes and a Trigon for some anti-tank specialness, and then I have two units of 12, I believe, Gene Stealers, which are going to come in outflanking, just to screw up my opponent's battle plans. And then I have a unit of 5 Warriors. They have Toxin Sacs, Adrenal Glands, and Death Spitters, and a Warrior Prime in there with 2 Bone Swords. So that unit, if it gets into combat, can do some serious damage, and the bonus is it's also a Troops choice, so, if the game comes down to is close at the end, those guys can just come in and snatch an objective, which a lot of times my opponent totally isn't expecting from such an elite unit. Here's a snap photo of my opponent's army. It's very small, very elite, but very it's a tough nut to crack. As you can see, he's got a unit of scouts with sniper rifles, and in there is Sergeant Tellian, who is a nasty prospect. His ability to pick out enemy characters and units and things like that can put some wounds on my more important characters, especially things like my Tyranid Prime and some of my my specialist units. He has a tactical squad in there, just a little combat squad. Actually, I believe he has 2 tactical squads. One is a combat squad, and one is a full squad with some special weapons. I don't exactly remember. He's also got a Stern Guard veteran squad and a Vanguard veteran squad. His Vanguard veteran squad is joined by a captain with a relic blade and a storm shield. And obviously they all have jump packs because jump packs are very fun to use. He's also got 2 dreadnoughts. Now, I am not entirely sure if I'm correct on this, but I believe one of them is an ironclad dreadnought. The other is a venerable dreadnought. And then backing all that nastiness up, he's got a Space Marine Chapter Master with a Lightning Claw and a Storm Bolter with Hellfire rounds, and a big unit of Terminators. Now, something that I didn't realize with the Terminators before was that you can actually take 10 Terminators in a squad, and then they can take 2 heavy weapons, and you can combat squad, put all of your combat units, such as sergeants, things like that, in one unit, and then all of the heavy weapons in the other. Meaning that this squad right now has an assault cannon and a cyclone missile launcher, which is awesome because it means that it doesn't need to get into combat and can lay down some pretty heavy firepower with those weapons. Here's a quick pic of the battlefield. We rolled up, the deployment was Spearhead, and the mission was Seize Ground. When we rolled up 5 objectives for that mission. It's sort of hard to see because the picture's a little fuzzy, but the objectives are on the left side, right next to that ruin there is one objective, and then under the ruin, just over to the right of that, there is another objective that you can't really see. In the very center of the board, actually just a couple inches to the right of the center of the board, there's another objective. And just above that, there's another ruin, and there's an objective in there. And then there's that intact building to the left, just in front of that sort of chapel building, and that also has an objective in it. My opponent, I believe he started to deploy a dreadnought, has chosen that corner in the foreground on the right side, and therefore I am in the top left corner for my deployment. Okay, here is the deployment for both sides of the battlefield. As you can see, my opponent's deployed pretty aggressively. He's got his Terminators out on the field there. He's got both his Dreadnoughts out, ready to pace some Tyranids. And he's got his Assault Squad, his Vanguard Veteran Squad out there, ready to kick some butt. He's also got most of his tactical squads, the Stern Guard veterans, things like that, holding those objectives in his side of the field. I think what he was going to do is pretty much just ignore that center objective and just try to contest mine, get a lot of those really heavily armored troopers over into my side of the board, and just win that way. As you can see, a lot of my troops have not been deployed on the board. All of my Gene Stealers and my Trigon have been kept in reserve. My Tyrant, like I said, has that Hive Commander special ability, which lets me get that bonus to my reserves, and so I can start bringing those units in very quickly, and I can start harassing his objectives and trying to take out those troop sources as quickly as possible. I have those two Termagant units in those buildings there, just holding down those objectives and basically just drawing fire. They go to ground as soon as they get shot at, so they're generally getting a 4+ or 3+ cover save, which means that they become very survivable, even though they're just gaunts. My troops are hiding warriors, which are troops, are hiding behind that building down in the sort of center there. They were basically going to be my reserve unit in case one of my flanks wasn't able to be held up by shooting and by my Gene Stealers. They were going to go in and just basically clear it up, and because they are troops, I can bring them in if one of those Termagant squads goes down, and they can try to salvage the situation. The Carnifex there is also hiding with the warriors. He's there to deal with those dreadnoughts mainly. He and both of those Zoanthropes. I was expecting some heavier armor in this game. Unfortunately, I didn't run into that. So he's there because he can take on a dreadnought pretty well if he gets that assault. He's got the adrenal gland, so he's at initiative 4 when he charges, and so he's another backup unit just like those warriors. Okay, this is a couple turns into the game. I think this is turn 2 or 3. As you can see, I've started to get some units onto the board for my reserves. I've been forced back with some of my Termagants from that sort of just right of the center objective there. They moved back because they were taking some serious fire from those Terminators. I figured it was easier to move them back up in turn 5 rather than just take casualties and risk the loss of the entire unit. I got a unit of Gene Stealers over on my side of the board over here in the lower right-hand corner. Unfortunately, that was a bad roll, but I figured that I had enough units of Gene Stealers and I had enough reserves that I could make it back from getting at least 1 or 2 bad outflank rolls. If you judge that just about half of your outflankers are going to come in on the wrong board edge, you'll probably have enough to be able to deal with any threats. And besides, Gene Stealers are pretty hard hitter, so if any of those Terminators get over on my side of the board, I can use those Rending Claws to crack some of that armor and take some of them down before they can start dealing with my objectives. As you can see, I also have my Trigon up in the upper left-hand corner there. He deep struck in and just barely scattered, so he didn't go off the board edge. As you know, Trigons are just like drop pods. They don't get mishapped if they land on an enemy unit or impassable terrain, but they will take a mishap if they fly off the board. So that was a distinct possibility, but fortunately, the Trigon survived. You can't really see it in this picture because they're in the building, but my Umgarl Gene Stealers were in the building. That was their secret deployment area, and because they are your Umgarl Gene Stealers, that means that they can assault as soon as they pop out of that building. So they have assaulted both the tactical squad and the Stern Guard squad in that building. Well, big thing I like to use a big unit of Umgarls for. They are expensive, but what I can do is I can increase their toughness to toughness 5, which makes them very hard to kill, and then they can just assault as many units as possible. Most of the time, I'll get 2 units if a person's really trying to hold down an objective. They have a lot of firepower in their back. Sometimes I'll even get 3 if a person's got a lot of units in there. And if those units aren't kitted out for combat, my Umgarl Gene Stealers can hold them for 3 or 4 turns, which is awesome. They might be able to kill the enemy unit, even if they just all get wiped out. They've held up that shooting enough for my other Gene Stealers to come in and just do the killing blow, which is absolutely crucial in games like this, especially games against an opponent which is much better at shooting. Also, as you can see, I've knocked off a couple Terminators from the center. I've taken some wounds from an Orbital Bombardment and Telion, who's been putting wounds on my Tyranid Prime, unfortunately. And I've destroyed an Ironclad Dreadnought in the center. Actually, no, sorry, that's a Venerable Dreadnought. I destroyed it with a very lucky roll from a Warp Lance. So let's go on to the next picture and see where the battle goes from here. So this is, I believe, the end of my turn 3. As you can see, that Gene Stealer unit has come in and been able to move up with its fleet and its regular movement and assaulted both the sniper unit and the tactical squad behind that building there that are holding down the objective. Hopefully, I can destroy both of those units with these Gene Stealers. Although the scouts are actually doing quite a number on the Gene Stealers, they are very rolling very well for scouts. That is. As you can see, the Trigon popped up and was assaulted by the. Actually, it assaulted the. I believe it was a Stern Guard squad back there with the Chapter Master and his what do you call that? A Lightning Claw. The Trigon's taken a couple wounds, but he's also done some to the Chapter Master. Unfortunately, Trigons when they assault are only strength 7 if you give them adrenal glands, so they're missing that 1 strength to get the instant death going on those units. So he's only got 1 wound left. But he's holding up the Trigon for as much as possible. Those iron halos are very useful for those Space Marine characters. My Umgarl Gene Stealers are still in that building. I've been putting as many attacks as I possibly can on the tactical squad in there. The tactical squad is the main priority because the Cernigard squad I can survive, and that can survive and do some serious damage with shooting. But unfortunately for my opponent, it doesn't score. So if I take out his scoring unit on that objective, it will be very hard for him to bring back troops to that area and to capture that objective. So this is getting on to the end of the game. As you can see, it's a couple turns later. I have some more reserve units in. My opponent basically tried to move his units across that killing ground in the center that I hadn't really anticipated as being as important as it was. Unfortunately, that lack of cover in the middle sort of drew both of us out. My opponent figured that he could do some damage because my units weren't getting as much cover as they would normally if it was a heavily covered area. Unfortunately, I just refuse to move out of cover and basically forced him to come into the range of my short-range weaponry, my Warp Lances and the Brainleech Devourers on that Hive Tyrant, which did some serious damage to my opponent's Terminators. As you can see, both of his Dreadnoughts have been destroyed by Warp Lances. There's one Terminator Sergeant from one of his squads in the center there, just sort of, cowering in fear that all these Tyranids are going to come get him. And then there's a unit of Gene Stealers behind that building ready to assault him and kill him off. And then this fire support unit of Terminators is sort of hiding in the back. It's just getting some pot shots off, and I really don't have the resources to attack it right now, just because I believe this is turn 4 or 5, so I just don't have the turns to move in and kill that unit. But fortunately, it's not a scoring unit, and it's far enough away so it won't get any of my objectives. So I'm pretty happy about that. My Gene Stealers, not Terminators, although they might as well be Terminators, they certainly terminate things with pretty good regularity. Those Gene Stealers in the upper left-hand corner have done some pretty good damage. They've destroyed that tactical squad, and they are almost done killing the scout squad, but Sergeant Talion just refuses to die. So we'll see if I can kill him off and clear that objective up in the next couple of turns. My opponent's Vanguard Veteran Squad did a 360, turned around to save the objective back there, kill that Trigon. They ended up wiping out the Umgaro Gene Stealer Brood. They assaulted the Trigon, but I got my other Gene Stealer Brood in there, which assaulted them and wiped out the whole squad. Okay, here we go. This is going to be the last picture. This is the end of the game right here. As you can see, every single one of my opponent's models, except for his unit of 5 fire support Terminators that are up there in the center, up at top there, have been wiped out. There's those 2 smoking Dreadnought wrecks in the center there, and his Stern Guard unit that was huddling in that ruin up in the upper left there with the objective in it were evicted by the Gene Stealers and the Trigon, both assaulting them. They had actually fallen back in order to get out of the range of those units in the first place, but with the overrun I got, the sweeping advance from killing off the Vanguard Veteran Squad, they were able to move right through the building. Move through cover is an awesome special rule, and we did clarify that all of these buildings were difficult terrain because they were pretty ruined. So Genestealers went right through the building and assaulted that unit, wiped it out, and took that objective for mine. So basically, the end score is 5-0. I have the objective, the two objectives on my opponent's side of the board. I got one in the middle with that Genestealer squad in the center there, and my Termagants are holding the two on my side of the board. So it was an absolute shutout, a total massacre. When I lost only a couple units, I believe the only full unit that I lost was the Ymgarl Genestealers. Other than that, I lost a large number of Termagants and Warriors from shooting and some wounds on some of my other units, but other than that, that was about it. So it was a pretty devastating loss to my opponent. It was still a good game, I'll give him that, but I don't think that he has really mastered the Space Marine Codex, and he really shouldn't be bragging about how he's done that, seeing as this measly little Tyranid army just pretty much steamrolled right over him. A couple things that my opponent could have done. I think that he spent a lot of points on Terminators. Unfortunately, Terminators are very slow-moving, very shooting-oriented. I think what he could have done a little bit better was at least get some sort of, maybe drop one of those Dreadnoughts, get some sort of transport, like a Land Raider for one of those Terminator squads. I think that Terminator squad with the Sergeant in it, the one without any of the heavy weapons, would have been an excellent candidate to get that heavy mechanized movement. That would have brought it to my side of the board and basically gotten it in my face a lot faster. It didn't have to weather all of that shooting. Those Warp Lances and the... I believe I got a couple successful Spirit Leeches off from the Hive Tyrant, which are Strength 3 AP 2 hits, which were just completely devastating to those Terminators. So that was something that would have been better just from a list perspective. Other than that, I think my opponent played a little offensively where he probably shouldn't have. I had a lot of outflankers and things, and a lot of his units were basically just stranded in the middle of the board. They couldn't really react to the changing battlefield conditions. I think if he had kept his units back a little bit more, had gone just for that center objective with a troops choice, and just basically held them back so that he could deal with whatever came off the sides of the board, he would have done a lot better. The way he was, all of his units were clumped together in the back. All of his important units were very vulnerable to my attacking Genestealers and Trigons, things like that, and they were very easily wiped out. So that will be all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this battle report. Check out my channel for more battle reports, or Trevy's painting table for more cool models and cool battle reports. Again, that will be all. I will see you all later. Trevy the Great, out.